Well, good morning. What a beautiful on the way to fall morning this is. Yes, I'm Lisa Fry, the Catholic unschooler, and while my kitties are sleeping, it's still summer and the weather is just beautiful. I'm going to show you how to have a steward's heart, how we can be good stewards of our property. Take a look. I literally only since the spring have cut any of the bushes. I only mowed the lawn in the spring. The summer came and it's leaving and I only mowed the lawn once. Look at this. Everything's overgrown. I just cut the grass the other day. Look, I got trees growing out of bushes. Look at everything. Look, terrible. So I am going to show you how to have a grateful heart. So I put some symphony music on. That's my grass. I finally cut it. Yes. But I just put the symphony music on for me because I know, see, listen. Aha. That makes me happy. So I'm going to go around. I'm going to see this tree over here. I got to trim the tree. The kids want me to make it go all the way down because it's the kind of tree that will go all the way to the ground. But usually they like to ride their dirt bikes all the way through. So I'm going to clear the way. See how that's hanging down? So just to have, oh, there is a nice sitting area. Just to have a beautiful place. That way there in the fall, when the fall really does hit, it'll be just such a beautiful place. So I put the symphony on, I had my cup of coffee, and I'm like, you know what? The weather is cool. It's so wonderful. It has a very cool breeze. And I have to say, you know what? Let me make my house a home with a grateful heart that I even have what we have. So just keep that in mind, to have a positive attitude, to say, you know what? Who is going to make this beautiful? I am going to make it so that when my children walk around the property or playing, whatever they're doing, they can feel good. They have memories of feeling really great. Okay, so I'm gonna go and attend to the bushes and I'll show you the befores and after. So that was all the before. That's not supposed to be that large. No, look at it, terrible. Terrible, terrible. All right, I'll be working hard and don't mind the way I look. I just woke up and threw myself together and thought, you know what? Let this day be about my yard. Okay. Okay, so I am going to use this hedge clipper. Yep, I plug it in. It's a Black & Decker. It's wonderful. Don't be afraid to use it. It's super easy. Okay, watch how easy this is, right? So this has a lock. You just pull it down towards yourself and then I pull the handle. So I only have one hand to do it with, but I just wanted to show you. So if you're a little intimidated, that's it. You plug it in, pull the safety lock, and you have to hold it down the whole time, and you just press. Here, pretty good, right? You don't want the leaves touching the house if you can, so this is before. It's very, very full. When we first moved in, everything was high and crazy. We have a tree growing here, and I'm gonna take this once the leaves fall off, and I'm probably gonna transfer it somewhere else. So, but don't do that unless the leaves fall off and they're in dormancy. Otherwise, it will die. All right, so I just trimmed everything away from the house. And it's a lot shorter, so when I sit on the stairs and say I'm looking out at the kids or whatever, this is not blocking my way, my view. And I just made it a lot smaller because I like to grow things over here. So I still have to clean up. I'm gonna save that for the last thing I do. I'm just gonna go ahead and trim everything. Usually I do step by step. Yeah, so I think it is a big improvement and it's not gonna grow crazy because the fall it's on its way, so we're good till next year. Imagine. All right, look at this pathetic thing, okay? Very bad. I like to make this thing into like a diamond shaped, so here's before. Ta-da! See, isn't that nice? Now it will try, of course, it's a plant or bush. It will grow. See the sticks, the branches? They will, if you leave it alone and you don't cut it, these of course will grow, and then when you cut it back, you'll have some bald spots, which I don't mind because we know that as long as it's alive, it will come back next year. So yeah, and I like to have it even with the stairs so it's not in the way, and cutting it away from the house one thing I learned the hard way is that I cut one of these wires back here. So as you get it away from the house, please be very careful that you do not cut, as I have, the wires near the house. So you don't want to leave anything touching the house. You don't want it rotting. Okay, so now on to this thing. I have this tree growing in there, or whatever it is. It's not even a tree. I really don't know what it is, but I can't get it out. So I always made this bush the heart bush, and then at Christmas time we drape red lights, and I call it my Sacred Heart of Jesus. So we'll see what we can do. Wish me luck. Okay, his after. Now there's a lot of blank spots. It used to look much nicer, but I dedicate this to the Sacred Heart of Jesus and to my children, so when they come out they always remember that I love them so much. So yeah, if you ever, I mean, I could do better, I guess, but I'll shape it up a little more. But see, so you have the different shapes in your yard. Just pretend that, you know, you're carving it out with a knife on a cake or something, and that's all it really is. All right. So not terrible, but, you know, it looks like it's getting emptier in here. Maybe because that one weed. I tell you right now, this guy, oh my gosh, this is a lifesaver when it comes to cutting down thick branches and whatnot. That's how I got this thing to cut in there. Highly recommended. Now for this monstrosity of a thing, both the heart and this here, they bloom beautiful. This is purple flowers and that's pink. So I like to keep it lower than the window and yeah, bring it down some. I prefer those hydranium type flowers, but I already got what I got. When we first moved here, there was something over here. There was so many things, and I just had to take it all out. And I have some blueberry bushes growing there with some weeds. So we're gonna clean all of this up. So let me do it before. So before I start cutting with the clippers there, I went around and I grabbed all the little vines that grow in there, and there was a handful, boy. So I don't want to cut it first. I want to pull those first, so I get a good handle on it. You don't want to cut them short. All right, so, and then I discovered, oh boy, another tree is growing. So the next thing is that I went around and I got all the weeds that were in the mulch and all around, and just get them all loose. So that way there, when you're done cutting, then you could just sweep it up. There's no extra work. Okay, here's after. I kind of like to make this one look like a cupcake. Yeah, so I like to keep it away from the rocks because I think they're pretty. Make the driveway, or excuse me, the walkway wider. Again, keep it away from the house. And it looks good. And then I'll probably take a rake and go over and get all the dead little branches there. All right, now onto this guy. I don't know. These things can grow pretty wild, and when they do, see how this here, you don't want those. It looks like they're not really going to come back. So I want to keep it flush with the stairs. I get it back a little bit to make this feel wider when we're out here. All right, again, the weeds. Let's go. A good idea, if you want to assure that you're going to get all of it, you want to twist. You want to grab it all and twist and pull. Yeah, even though I didn't get it all. Right? A lot of times if you can't get it out, just twist. Okay, after. So I like to keep things, I don't know, a little bit of the same height in the front. I got it away from the stairs, and then I thought about the snow and how keep a distance, because you don't want the snow all over here. I mean, snow's gonna get everywhere anyway. But the more you can get away, I think the better. So what I do is I'll come out here and I'll look back at the house like this. And I'll usually, so like to get this bush that I'm gonna work on next, I look about whereabouts it is. I use the window as a guide, right? Maybe you know all of this stuff. But, so I wanna make sure, so I get it about the same. Let's look. Hey, there I am. All right, so yeah, so it ends about the same kind of sort of over on this side, but I gotta straighten out this now. All right, not bad, not bad. All right, so I'm standing way back to see if I like, hey, there I am in the door. to see if I like it. I think this one's a little high and this one's a little flatter on top. So let me go even that out. I highly recommend before the sun hits your house, if that's possible, to get it all done. So that way there, you're not tortured in the sun, unless of course you like that. But I would say this is the earliest time I think I may have done it, and I like it better because I'm not as exhausted and sweaty and horrible before the sun hits the house. Okay, so what I do is, see the wood behind the house there, the siding? So I see where it is, if it matches up. It looks pretty good. All right, now I'm gonna cut out the dead branches like this. Those are pretty much gonzo. Okay, with my handy dandy tool, I went through and see how this branch doesn't really have much going on, but you do have some. I will always keep that because you never know what's gonna happen. And I went through and got rid of all the other stuff. Now, hopefully someday that'll fill in. If not, it's not the worst thing in the world, as my mother-in-law would say. All right, on to the next. Now, this isn't taking much time at all. So it's been about an hour and like, I don't know, 11 minutes. Okay, so this guy, I want to point out that if you have a vent like for your dryer, like I do here, this was killing, all the steam was killing this whole bush. And this is beautiful. This has beautiful purple flowers. And what I did was I put bricks here to prevent it from killing it. So I just leave these here, and now the steam bounces off that instead of this here killing it. Okay. So again, now this one here, it was a lot smaller, and so it's been growing. It's been taking a long time, but be patient. All right, a little lopsided, but I don't want to cut too much. I just kind of shaped it a tad and got all the little sticky things sticking up, all the little branches sticking up. Cleared out the weeds. See, I take pride in my rocks because when we first moved here, they weren't there. My friend who was building her house said that when they dug it up, she knew I was looking for rocks, and she gave me a whole truckload full. So my dream for this house was to put the stones around, because I remember my grandmother traveling through the country and seeing all these stones everywhere, dividing the properties, and I always admired that. I wanted something earthy and crunchy. So now on to the next. All right, this is our bay window. I planted these a few years ago. They were $27 a piece. They are growing. Boy, oh boy, they were not that big. These are blue spruce. And I planted this here. I do not know the name of it. And my goddaughter and her mother gave me this last year. So we planted it. I wanted it to be nice and full with things. I got to clean all this out. Look at all the weeds. Horrible. Everything's overgrown. Terrible. Terrible, terrible. Let's go. Okay, so I see that after I pulled everything out, all the weeds, that I do need more mulch, as you can tell. I did put that black stuff underneath years ago. It did prevent a ton of weeds from growing. Yes, it did. I think we even doubled it. I don't think one layer is good enough. So all of this I will hedge another time. What I did was instead of picking it all up, I just shoved all the leaves underneath, and they'll decompose. All right, and they will nourish the dirt that is there, even though the trees aren't really going to benefit from it, from being covered with that black stuff. Okay, so not too bad for now. And I guess before I tackle that, I will see if I have energy by cleaning up all the mess. And I highly recommend getting one of these wire rakes. They are not the plastic, okay? They fine-tune everything. So I'm gonna clean all this up before. Whoops, just when I thought I was done with the hedge clippers. No, I have some mint growing down there, and I really want the sun to get at it. So this is my lilac bush. I put it here myself. Most things I did. So I wanna get it clear from the walkway, as you can see. It's interfering. I don't really care about the height. I'll let it grow. It's beautiful. Okay, it's clear. I like it to be flush with the fence and the rocks. And now the mint have full sunshine. Beautiful. I highly recommend growing mint. Okay, so there it is. I got it away from all of this. Even though it would look really pretty, I don't want it hanging heavy on the fence. There's a lot of cleanup to do. So I cut my grass yesterday. I'm all proud of myself. However, there's tons of work to do. Did you ever think you weren't going to have enough room in your barrels for all of your branches? Well, instead of having a big pile and mess of them, it's great to take your clippers and to chop. See, now I chop them down and now I have a ton of room for that. Instead of bending over, which is always really helpful to keep in shape, but if there are times that you don't want to, or you're so tired, I highly recommend taking your, if you don't know this already, I'm trying to do this and hold the camera, but you just get everything on top and then you can put it into your barrel. All right, you get the point, right? Okay, everything looks so much tidier. Now, in order to pick all this up, instead of dealing with it and maybe not getting it all, use your handy dandy duster. What is this thing called? The shovel? Not the duster. The handy dandy shovel. See, you'll do so much better. Oh no, now that I got all this out of the way, how do I get all these little doodads off the rocks and off all the little nooks in there? How am I going to get that? Well, ta-da, dun-da-da. This little device called the broom works like $1,000,000. So, just brush it off. See? Gets all the little areas on your rocks, if you have rocks, or anything that you have to get those little spaces. All right, I'll show you after the broom. Okay, look at that. Now, the whole time I've been out here is 2 hours and 10 minutes. But look at that, right? Fine tunes everything. Nice. The broom. The broom. Yes, not bad. Hey, look who it is. It's Mr. Fry. What do you think? Did you see?
No.
Go look at the front.
I looked at that one.
I know. We're going to get that too.
Oh, yeah.
Huh?
That, yeah.
Nice, huh?
All
of it's done, even over there.
Away from the house.
I did, right?
See that too. Away from the house.
Away from the house. That's what I did. I've been explaining that to everybody. See? Nice, huh?
Hard-working woman.
Hey?
Except for the ugly one out there.
No, I know. We're going to get it. It's way over there. Horror.
You got Miffy, right?
Oh, good. Got Miffy some food from his work. Ooh, avocados, healthy fat. Don't be afraid of healthy fat. Fat doesn't make you fat.
No, it makes you happy.
All right.
All right.
Get back to work, Lisa. Look at this mess. Terrible. Why are you helping me with this cord?
Because I don't like that bush out there. It's too bushy.
What, over here? What's wrong with that?
It's like wildfire. Look at it.
Yeah. There used to be a ton. Do you remember when we first moved here? There was so many of those. They give beautiful, they bloom yellow flowers that are gorgeous, but it went around the corner.
Really?
Yeah. And I cut them all down.
All I know is that every year I have to get more lights because there's not enough for the bushes.
Oh, I know. We got to see this house during Christmas time. We got the Blue Ribbon Award one year. Yep, so we prepare everything for that. And he's helping because he cannot stand that bush.
And I work.
Huh?
And I work and I'm working.
He went to work and now he's working more.
Oh, what time we have to go?
Where?
Get the stuff.
Tonight. Tonight we're getting a new couch from Let Go for $5. Woohoo! All right, let me get back to work, Lisa. See? Nice. And it's really great because I don't have to pull any weeds. I already did it. All right, what do we think? See? The wire rake and the broom does wonders. Look at, see? And then any little dirt, you just sweep it right in there in the yard. See? Not too shabby. It took 2.5 hours. Yikes. And, you know, maybe some of you might be asking yourself, well, why aren't the children helping? Well, first of all, I love doing this stuff. Would it be helpful? Of course it would. But it's okay because you know what? Over time, I think you'd agree, when children watch parents, you know, whether it's cooking, doing laundry, fixing things, they learn, they observe, they're constantly observing. How do you think that I know what I'm doing? Because I watched my grandmother in the garden, you know, and you learn here and there. So the children, and they help all the time, just not today, but you know, they help shovel, they help rake in the fall, you know, and a lot of it's voluntary. So, all right, now for the monstrosity bush over there. Okay, here we go. Before, whoa baby. Yeah, all of that was over here as well. Huge, wicked high. But because I didn't want the children riding their bikes and not being able to see what cars were coming, I always cut it really low and then I took all that out. Okay, so here's before. Ta-da! After! Now, the wonders of a broom. Clean up all the sides. Okay, we straightened up this. We swept, when I say we, I mean me, swept all along the curb. I love this thing. I highly recommend getting one of those. And this just grew here. How perfect. And I left it. And it's going to look nice once it gets real tall. I have our little girl. She's greeting everyone. And some plants. And this here was from my father-in-law when he used to come and visit. So we leave them. And this tree here, it's a maple. That one and that one. They actually were in a different part of the yard. And during the right time, during the time when they go to sleep, that's when I moved it, and look, beautiful. So I am beat, and it is about, gosh, 3 hours and 10 minutes later. Woo! Well, I can feel good that I made my house a home and that my children observed what I was doing. I cannot wait. This is the real first day that I felt that fall was on its way. It's so coming, and I don't know about any of you, but I love it so much. So I can't wait. This is the kind of cool day. It's starting to get hot now, but it's the kind of cool day where I think about how my husband and I, we get ready for Christmas. Way early, I know, but I already started listening to Christmas music. Don't tell anybody. Okay, so yes, I love it. I love making my house a home. It's wonderful, wonderful. And so that's how you be a good steward. You just keep going. Think of a really good plan that makes your life a whole lot easier, and stick to it and just go. Make your house a home. God bless.